Hello all my Kenvians, I'm PapaKenn and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Today is episode 17, and the episode I'm going to be talking about is Lion 2, the movie. A very strange name, to say the least, but I did like how it kind of fit in with the theme of what was going on inside of the episode. That was a lot of fun. But let's get right into it with some of my favorite parts of the episode, starting with Dogcopter 3 in 3D. It's completely inconsequential as far as the episode itself goes. I mean, that is pretty obvious, other than the fact that like Connie just really wants to see this, and it's obviously kind of a cutesy fake movie, and Steven seems all about it, like he seems excited to see it, but it's like Connie, like her dialogue shows it's like she sees like these underlying tones, and it's like, these maybe sub references that the movie makes to other things, and I just in a way that felt kind of meta, because that's kind of how this show is in a lot of ways. So yeah, I really like that, and the beginning trailer was a lot of fun too, I have to say. But my second favorite part of this episode was riding Lion. Just that entire segment right there was a lot of fun, and you can tell that. Well, first of all, just trying to get Lion moving was funny, but then when you can tell just how much fun Connie and Steven are having together riding Lion, and then as they go through that portal, which was crazy. But yeah, there was just so much about those scenes with them riding on Lion and just having all kinds of fun. It's one of many things about this episode, and I guess how many episodes has Connie been in? Is this only the second? I think that's right. But yeah, it's just like it's like these little bonding moments that just work so well, and I just absolutely love it. But moving on from there, my third favorite part about this episode has to be Under Attack Bubble Burst. And but just being under attack in general from whatever that thing was, like some ancient gem thing. Yeah. Just like the entire segment where they're being under attack, and the way that it worked with like the hot and cold elements. Did it work with others as well? I can't remember. But just that was absolutely insane. And then seeing Steven's bubble, like the protective bubble that was essentially completely impenetrable from pretty much anything in the previous episode where it appeared, up until the time where it finally went away. Like, this thing was able to penetrate the defenses, which honestly took me by surprise. I was just like, whoa, this thing can break Steven's defense? Because again, I thought that the bubble was impenetrable. So that, I guess that just goes to show, well, maybe it could be a matter of from where Steven doesn't know how to control his powers yet, the shield isn't as powerful as it could be, or this was just an insanely powerful entity that they were dealing with, which could very well be the case. But okay, there's that. Moving on, my fourth favorite part of this episode, and this is another one of those where it's weird to say it's under my favorites, but it's a part of the episode that I really found interesting and liked, and it's Connie's inferiority complex. And just the entire dialogue there, like Steven thinks that he's being stupid, that, Connie doesn't like him, but it's Connie who feels inferior, like she feels stupid in comparison to this wonderful magical boy that she knows, and all the things he does, and him being with the crystal gems. It's just that inferiority complex. It's just like, it's something that's so relatable for so many people. And it honestly made me sad when the character said that. But there's a lot of aspects about her personality at some points in this episode, but then also in her first episode especially, where, you know, you can tell she's not very confident. She doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. So, yeah, just the way they portrayed Connie's inferiority complex was just really well done. And also what they did building on from the establishment, like, you know, the very firm establishment of that inferiority complex in this episode. And that moves on to my fifth favorite part of this episode, and that is the magic sword. The magic sword that comes out of the magical mane of this magical lion. And I feel like I've seen the sword before. I don't know if maybe it was on like, you know, a GIF on Tumblr or something like that. But the sword itself was really awesome. It was, I mean, crazy powerful. Again, especially considering how powerful this entity seems to be. But yeah, I just really liked that. That brings me to my sixth and final favorite part of this episode. And that's just Steven and Connie. Steven and Connie together, in my opinion, are an amazing team. And I believe that's something that this episode in particular was giving us a glimpse of, is just how good of a team they can be. Because it took both of them to work the sword. It took both of them to be able to fully utilize what was going on and to take down this monster. And I think between the two of them, future episodes could hold a lot of promise, really. And again, that's sort of I guess kind of theory on my part. But I just really think that Steven and Connie are just a great team, and that was just I would say that's probably actually my favorite part of this entire episode, was that end segment where they're acting as a team together and using the sword to battle this monster. I really, really like that. But okay, moving on from there, I do have one annoyance, and it is admittedly a small one, but it's one that bothered me all the same. There's a moment, it's like maybe 2 seconds, probably more like just 1 second, but there's this point where Steven's eyes just take on this really weird animation. And I don't know what it is about that. And it's weird because I haven't really commented negatively on the animation or really any of the drawings for quite a while on the show, so it really took me by surprise when there was just this really, it seemed poorly drawn moment with Steven's eyes. And it may have been, I'm sure it was probably on purpose, it was supposed to be ridiculous and silly looking, but it didn't feel right. It was one of those moments that was just kind of like, oh, don't do that, you are clearly capable of so much better graphics. So yeah, that's my one annoyance with this episode. Other than that, I mean, you know, all the favorites stand by, and obviously that gives you a sneak preview of my overall thoughts, but won't get into that just quite yet. As always, if you have any of your own favorites or annoyances with this episode, please do let me know what they are in the comments down below. But moving on from there, I didn't really have a track of the episode per se, or no songs that really stuck out to me. It could just be a matter of I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, just for this episode, nothing really stood out to me for me to kind of like, you know, call out the name in a scene or anything like that, since I still don't know the names of the songs yet. So maybe next time. But I do have 2 quotes of the episode. The first one is just really silly because it's a pun. Well, that would make sense, with cents being C-E-N-T-S, like, you know, pennies, nickels, cents. It was funny to me. But anyway, my second favorite quote of this episode, or my second quote of the episode, would have to be, and it's repeated at least once by Steven, and he's saying it to Lion, and it's, "Why don't you tell me you can do these things you do?" And It's so funny because, I mean, obviously, first of all, there's the absurdity of a lion being able to tail. I got southern there for a second. A lion being able to tell someone what they can do. But then just Steven's authentic amazement with these things that Lion is able to do. It's just like, why don't you tell me these things? Why didn't you let me know I can pull a sword out of your head? Why didn't you let me know you can create rifts in dimensions and teleport and go places? Paraphrasing, of course. But yeah, for me, that was the quote of the episode. If you have any of your own, or if you have any tracks of the episode that really stood out to you, let me know what those are. And also, any lines from this episode that really stood out for you, or really caught your ear. I'm not even sure that's really a phrase, but I'm going to use it. Yes. Alright, but moving on. I have a question and a theory. My question, and it has to do with my favorite part of this episode. Can Steven fuse with humans? Because they already referred to Steven being able to fuse. Which, implies that he would be able to do that with a crystal gem. But if he's half human, could he be able to fuse with another human? And the reason why I bring that up is because there's, what is it that was referred to in the Opal episode? There has to be synchronicity. You have to be on each other's wavelength. It's like, completely in tune with each other. And by all means, it seems like Steven and Connie have that potential in the show. Again, I think that's what they're establishing in this episode. So if it does happen, don't tell me, obviously, but that is my question that may potentially be unanswerable for the time being. But it's like, can Steven fuse with humans? Just a question I have. But also, I do have a theory for this episode. Well, that comes from this episode. And it's that, and again, it kind of has to do with the question as well. But my theory is that Connie has a destiny alongside the crystal gems. Like, I have a feeling that she's going to become, she'll probably for a long time remain a secondary character to a point, but she will be much more of a recurring character. It won't be she appears once, like 3-4 episodes later she appears again. I have a feeling that at a certain point she'll be around, if not every episode, maybe every other episode, and that she may learn to become a fighter, fight alongside the crystal gems. I don't know whether that's really capable, since she is fully human, as opposed to Steven, who is, part human, part gem. But there's so much that happened in this episode between the two of them that I can't help but feel like that is a distinct possibility, that she has a destiny alongside them, potentially, down the road. But alright, now for my overall thoughts on this episode. I'm sure it comes as no surprise, but I honestly really did like this episode. Lion was great. It was great to see an episode that, even if it didn't really necessarily focus on Lion, where Lion was sort of a core part of what was going on, and then just the relationship of Steven and Connie, they built upon it from just that first episode amazingly. And again, it has me having all these questions and theories about what the future may hold with Connie as a character. So just, yeah, I honestly really did love this episode. And it has me in a mood to go ahead and watch another episode of Steven Universe and maybe get another one of these episodes recorded. It's hard to say at this point. But yeah, so yeah, those are my overall thoughts. Please, everyone watching, referring back to everything, any of your own thoughts about this episode, please do let me know what they are. If you didn't like this episode for some reason, please do tell me why. But also, if you did enjoy it as I did, I would love to hear your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts either way. So, there you go. But coming up next, the episode is Beach Party. Beach Party! So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to infer from that one other than maybe another sand monster appears. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to checking that out, if nothing else. And yeah, just continuing on with this show that is increasingly grabbing my attention, and I am just growing more and more fond with it with every passing day. More and more fond of it with every passing day. But alright everyone, I'm PapaKenn, and thank you very much for joining me for episode 17 of Discovering Steven Universe, and I will see you next time for Beach Party. And until then, Allons-y!